So Joe Biden, at least as of right now, is refusing to use an executive order to cancel student loan debt. And this is from his press secretary directly, despite the fact that there is a broad group of Democratic congresspeople and senators that want him to do this. Now, I want to play you Jen Psaki from earlier today because she's talking about this story.
The president has and continues to support canceling $10,000 of federal student loan debt per person as a response to the COVID crisis. He's calling on Congress to draft the proposal, and if it is passed and sent to his desk, he will look forward to signing it. Debt relief is, of course, an important priority for the president. On day one, the first day of his administration, he directed the Department of Education to extend the existing pause on student loan payments and interest for millions of Americans with federal student loans. That was a step he took through executive action, but he certainly supports efforts by members in Congress to take additional steps, and he would look forward to signing it.
So he would do that through legislation and not an EO, not an executive order?
Well, I think he already took a step through an executive action on the first day, and he would look to Congress to take the next steps.
And so what's being referenced there is that earlier in the day, people like Chuck Schumer, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, along with Elizabeth Warren, Ilhan Omar, Mondaire Jones, Ayanna Pressley, a couple others, held a press conference where they said they want Biden to use as an executive order to cancel up to $50,000 of student loan debt. And Biden should do this. And here's just a short clip by Elizabeth Warren explaining how this makes sense from an economics and social justice perspective.
Canceling student loan debt is the single most effective executive action that President Biden can take to kickstart this economy. Canceling student loan debt is the single most effective executive action that President Biden can take to help close the racial wealth gap. Canceling student loan debt is the single most effective executive action President Biden can take to lift the economic prospects of tens of millions of young Americans.
And that really, hits the nail on the head there. If you want to kickstart the economy, if you want to give young people a chance, if you want to help address racial inequality, canceling student loan debt won't fix everything, of course, but it is a major tool in your belt if you want to do those things. If you want to fight for economic justice, racial justice, and giving young people, intergenerational justice, then student loan debt cancellation is a good thing to do. So I think this is pretty disappointing from Joe Biden, if I'm being honest. And we've sort of gotten this hint from him before. I covered it in a video I made in December where, behind the scenes, he was sort of telling people that I don't want to use my executive order powers very broadly, which is a sign that he's going to shunt it off to Congress. And that's fine and good, but the nature of Congress right now is that you need 60 votes to get pretty much anything through the Senate, and you're not going to get 60 votes. So saying you're not going to use your executive orders to do good things, even when you're able to do it, and even when there's clear evidence of support from Democrats in the House and Senate, including Chuck Schumer, who is not what I would call a progressive. Again, he's the Senate Majority Leader, so he speaks in a way on behalf of the whole Senate, or at least the whole Democratic Senate, and you're still not going to do it. It looks really bad. Young people made you president, Joe. Young people in large part came out more than they normally did. Turnout was higher. And young people voted overwhelmingly Democrat. Young people really helped you win that election. And a lot of Democrats win their House and Senate seats. And so I think, honestly, it's a good move to cancel some debt via executive order. Now, maybe you don't do the 50. Maybe you find some sort of quote unquote compromise. I think you should do the full 50, but at the very least, you could certainly do something. Because frankly, the alternative is no student loan debt cancellation. We have to be honest here. When Jen Psaki, and I'm not blaming her, she's just speaking on behalf of Biden, but when she says Biden supports this but needs a bill on his desk, that's disingenuous. Because Biden knows a bill to cancel student loan debt won't end up on his desk, because it won't get through the 60-vote filibuster. So Biden, in effect, is saying, I don't support student loan debt cancellation. Now, one good thing here is if you read the reporting on this, Chuck Schumer, Liz Warren, and the rest, they're actually sort of couching this in semi-combative language to Biden, saying that, we respect the president, but we're going to mobilize the American people on this issue so that they can't be ignored. And then we're going to go back to the president and, sort of implore him to get this done. So I think that's actually a good sign that even some of the Democrats like Schumer are willing to publicly say that they disagree with the president, at least on tactics, and they're going to pressure him. That's a good sign. And that's a sign that the Democrats are not going to be quite as timid and weak as they were back in 2008, 2009, the last time they controlled all three branches. So, Biden needs to do better here. I know there's been some good news today. Biden is rolling down, ending that disastrous conflict in Yemen that the United States has taken a part in, and Biden should be commended for making a good decision there. But student loan debt cancellation should be an absolute priority, and he needs to get it done.